Today we having three speakers who is going to speak on National Overseas Scholarship for ST scholars. And yeah, first speaker is Ashok Devnath. He did his MA Development Studies from International Institute of Social Studies 2021 to 21, currently working with NCDHR as senior researcher. Also, he is an independent researcher and he is a NOS fellow for 2019 to 20 academic year, joined university in 2021, and he did on The Hague, Netherlands. And the second speaker, Kunal Kishore Hansel. He is doing his PhD on environmental studies and resource management, Crawford School of Public Policy University, the Australian National University, Canberra, Australia. And our third speaker, Jeet Jinukilo. He currently joined his PhD in the University of Sydney, Australia. He did his MPhil from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. I welcome all the three speakers to begin this session. It is a great honor to welcome my friends to speak on this topic. Yeah, I call Ashok to begin the session.
Hi, Kyle. Thank you, and then thanks to the all candidates and aspirants uh, who are soon maybe joining the universities, and then the aspirants, of course. So I think I don't know like how we are unpacking it, but like I will kind of briefly tell them how this scholarship scheme works, and then like maybe my experience I can share, or like should I first give the eligibility criteria, and then who can apply, and then what are the like how many fellowships are there, and then like how it works, like that I want to get a little clarity on it. So how are we unpacking it?
Yeah, sure, Ashok. Like you can give the intro to the NO
Uh,
SST, and we can begin like from your experiences how to
okay,
what are the
okay,
eligibility criteria.
cool. So yeah, so yeah, thanks for the participant for joining across the regions within India and then outside India maybe. And thanks for the organization inviting me as one of the speaker. And yeah, and then and yeah, thanks to Jeet for inviting me to join this particular session to at least like give and then brief about NOS. So yeah, so National Overseas Scholarship for this particular year is open, as you all know. So I would like to tell like who all can apply for this particular scheme, and then the challenges also I'll give you, like what are the challenges you face as you proceed with your application. So yeah, so you have like NOS ST uh, constituted by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs for the ST students across India, and the number of awards for right now is like 20. The we have been like at least like Kunal is there, Jeet is here. So we are demanding, kind of demanding it for to increase at least 50, as Ministry of Social Justice for Dalit students, scheduled caste students is 100 till last year. From last year, it is 125 awards. So making 20 for the SC students doesn't make any sense. And then also like with the population proportion, they're supposed to increase the number of awards given the lower enrollment rates, and then lower lower ratio of the teaching faculty in universities across India. So it is important to increase the award, but right now we have 20 awards. Within 2017 awards are allocated to all ST candidates, and for a PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, For them, for those communities, they are allocating now three awards. So total 20. And then for the masters and PhD, doctoral research, and then postdoctoral research, these three courses are eligibility as of now. And if we distribute like, or if we talk about the conditions of eligibility, for the postdoctoral research, at least in your PhD thesis, and then overall 55% of marks are required, so you to be get eligible for this. And then your age supposed to be 38 for the postdoctoral research. And for PhD, if you're planning to go to abroad, like for Western universities or any foreign university, you're supposed to have same like 55% of marks in your master degree. And then the maximum age as of on 1st of July should be 35 years. And for the masters, it is same in bachelor's, 55% of marks, and then age is like 32. These are recent guidelines. And whoever are aspirants and who are willing to apply or want to go abroad, first do read the revised guidelines. Some of you are reading, because a couple of aspirants reached out to me, and then they are reading old guidelines. The old guidelines are a little different. The new, they made some changes, particularly for social science students. They made some changes, so go through the revised guidelines. And then I also shared link right in chart. I'll also share it later if it is like PDF is required. So yeah, and then one child is only like in a family can go. And also the income criteria for your family or for you, it's like total overall income criteria is 6 lakhs. So those candidates who are falling within 6 lakh income criteria can only apply the scheme. um, yeah. Apart from that, if I go by field of study, how it works, for our STEM courses, it is 10 slots are allocated. And for for management, economics, finance, law, that you can see, of course, in the guidelines as well. So 4 seats are allocated. And agriculture and medicine, it is 4. And for humanities and social sciences, it is 2 in the revised guidelines. And then duration of the program, it depends. For the masters, it depends on how many months it is. So from 1 year to, it can be also 3 years earlier. So yeah, for the PhD, it is 4 years only. And then for postdoctoral research, it is maximum of 2 years. And yeah, Kyle, should I go, or like we can switch, or let me know how it should be?
Yeah, we can go ahead. Like, it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So the value of scholarship is like, if you're a shortlisted for the NOS, you will be like your tuition fees will be fully paid by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India. And your annual maintenance allowance, like living expenses, also paid by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs through the Indian Embassy or Indian consulate in your respective countries, wherever your host university is there. So right now, the annual maintenance allowance is USD 15,400. In yeah, so in UK it is different, 9,900. It's yeah, roughly it's 9,900 uh, pounds. So, and yeah, your health insurance will be covered. Your visa will be covered by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Cost of air passage will be covered. Uh, and yeah, so local travel, within local travel from your airport to university, that will be covered till you reach the university. So these guidelines you can read here in the ministry's website. But it's important to read, because most of us, what we don't do is like, we don't read, and then we panic because of some things, like for example, about the bonds or about the verification process after these elections. So all of these, like, people get panic, but it's better to read 2 3 times, because you're like, it is a very important scheme. And then also it is important to read, because you should know what the guidelines is saying, so that even if the bureaucrat or the official in the ministry says something, that you can challenge them, basically. So yeah, apart from that, like I'll probably go little later about the our whole my whole experience, and then the other challenges I uh, like I got to know through the friends who applied. And on the mota and then on Ministry of Social Justice, couple of articles I curated, so you can see that those as well with the RTI information, and then the challenges couple of friends experienced with the both ministries. So yeah, I think I'll go later about the personal experiences, or like based on the Q&A, I can go ahead as well.
Yeah, I'm looking for a postdoctoral fellow. So currently I'm employed, but somewhere in the notification I saw that there needs some income tax something. So it is required to be uploaded, one certificate related to that. So like I don't know, but I haven't been employed for more than 6 months or 7 months. So I don't have that certificate. So how I can do that? Because they are requiring that certificate, some income tax related.
Ashok,
So
would you like to
yeah,
answer?
yes. So it's family. If your family is not earning like more than certain amount, you can just submit the income tax, right? Not income tax, income certificate
Okay, yes.
issued by your competent authority in your respective state. You just submit that document. That should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about the income tax, because you how, like, if I can ask roughly, what is your family total income?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is, like, what is your
it is less than six
less than
less than six.
less than six? So less than six.
Yes.
So it should be fine. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
So you just give your family income, total family income.
So I wanted to actually know that the
Mhm.
amount mentioned for the annual maintenance, which is 9,000 euro for, I think, for Europe, is it like
No. So
hmm.
9,900 pounds for a for only UK.
Yes, sir.
For
So that is for the whole year,
yes,
or
for the whole year. Yeah.
okay. So then,
Yeah. Don't call
since
me Sir Aradhana. So it's fine. You can call me Ashok.
yeah, because the universities there can be expensive, so will that amount suffice for the whole year, or so I just wanted to clarify. Sure.
Yeah. So it depends on the city, which city your university is located, right? So, for example, in New York, it may not be sufficient. In London, it's not may not be sufficient. You have to still do the part time or some part time research, something. But like in like if I can speak from the Europe perspective, it should be sufficient pretty much, like bare minimum. It's not lavish like
Okay.
you can lead, but then you can take care about your housing, and then yeah, like your housing and food will be taken care, and then travel little bit travel to your university to your housing, that can be taken care. But in some countries it may be different. Like for example, US is very expensive, and the UK
Yeah.
is expensive. London, particularly London, is expensive. So, and then Australia also, uh, Kunal can add actually that Australia could be expensive as well. So yeah, it depends. Like, but like for most cities, it should be fine. Other than like very expensive cities like Geneva, New York, maybe Melbourne, and all may be difficult, but this should be
Okay.
sufficient.
I call upon the second speaker, Kunal.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can begin your speech.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm audible, right?
Yes, you're audible.
Hello.
You're audible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So thank you, Ashok, for a very good introduction to the scheme. I guess the eligibilities were quite covered within that, and just like Ashok said, please read the guidelines 2, 3 times, because each and every point that you read, you might have some confusions with that. Sometimes the ministry officials also doesn't have clarity, because they also, I guess, don't read the guidelines properly. So this might be all about the guidelines, the minimum eligibility criteria, and then just like John said, some document issues or something like that. So this can always be addressed to the ministry if you have some kind of confusion or you don't have certain documents. So please always make sure that the documents that are mentioned in the guidelines, you have it all ready when you're applying for the scholarship. The second thing, when you have some documents missing, please call up the ministry as many times as you can and clarify all your doubts. This is about the documents and about the eligible criterias. Now coming to the universities where you're applying or which courses you're applying. So the basic eligibility for masters, everyone knows, is your bachelor's degree. And you also know the minimum percentage of marks that you need to have. It's the same for PhD. Your qualifying degree is master's. Again, the same criteria, 55% marks in your master's to apply for the PhD. So these are the basic minimum eligible criterias. Age criteria, you already know. Postdoc 38 and PhD 35 and master's also 35. These are the maximum age limit, and this is not relaxable. So if your age crosses, say, 35 or something, so it has to be within 35 after all the relaxations that you get if you belong to the scheduled tribe category. So maximum age is 35 in all cases. Now coming to universities, and like Aradhana and someone else raised, like if the amount is sufficient for the cost of living. So what the ministry gives you is a complete tuition fee. It doesn't matter how much expensive the university is, and this money will be directly paid through the embassy or the high commission in the concerned country or the concerned location where this particular the university is located. So the consulate will make sure that all your tuition fee is paid on time, and you will not be troubled anytime if the ministry or the embassy or the consulate doesn't pay your tuition fee. So you don't have to worry about your tuition fee. Now coming to the health coverage, in certain cases, like for example Australia, the health coverage also is paid by the embassy, so you don't have to worry about that. Countries like UK and in some parts of Europe, you have to pay for your uh, health coverage, and you will be reimbursed for that. The same goes for visa. So visa you have to spend from your own pocket, and then it gets reimbursed. The same goes for the flight tickets. It gets reimbursed in most of the cases, or else the ministry will book it for you. Okay. So for ST scholarship, for the Ministry of Travel Affairs, in 99% of the cases, they will book it for you. So make sure that if you get selected for the scholarship, you have a confirmation of admission from any of the university. You start your paperwork as soon as you get the selection or the provisional award, right? So these are the cost of living that will be covered, and the tuition fees that will be covered. And just like Ashok mentioned, not a lavish lifestyle, but you will cover your housing cost, your fooding cost, and your basic minimum requirements. Okay. So medical cover, you already have it through insurance paid by the ministry or the embassy. You have your tuition fee paid regularly. This is done. And then if you still don't meet your requirements, which depends on the cost of living, if your university is in London, or if you're like in New York, or like say Melbourne or Sydney, so the ministry haven't revised the annual maintenance charges or the stipend that the students get. So this is also a concern, but still now you will be able to cover all your cost. Not a lavish lifestyle again, but basic minimum cost of living will be covered irrespective of which country or which city you're living in. Being an international student in a foreign university, not just Indian students or any scholarship students, you have to work part-time. It depends what kind of work you can do. So you can have a work within the university, or you can have your work outside the university. And everyone does it. It's not a bad thing to do. And it depends how convenient you are to do a certain kind of work. And this is how you divide your time between your studies and how you just adjust the cost of living. So this is about the cost of living, everything that is covered by the ministry or your eligibility criteria. Now coming to finding the universities. So I applied for this scholarship along with Ashok. So we got selected in the same academic year, that was 1920. And So, but now certain rules have changed. So the rules that were applied during 1920 are different now. So we had to go through interviews. Okay. And so if you have applied for a university and the scholarship, the ministry used to call every student for a personal interview, and they make sure that the student who have confirmed admission offer from the universities will be given preference from the rest of the candidates. But what the rules have changed now is that you need to have a confirmation of admission or offer letter that we say in most of the cases, either it is in master's or PhD or postdoc, before you apply for this scholarship. But then you can always apply. It doesn't matter in case you doesn't have an offer letter. So once you apply and you already have an offer from a supervisor or from a university, your chances of getting selected is 100%. Okay. And even if, like, suppose there are 20 number of seats and say 20 students have applied and 20 of them have or like so 30 of them have applied and 30 of them also have offer letters. So then the criteria will be like which university has the highest ranking according to the, may say, you can say like QS ranking or Times Education, like whichever the ranking agencies are. So make sure when you're applying, you have offer letter from the best university that you can get, and so is your chances of selection gets much better than the rest of the candidates. No interviews now, but the rules might change anytime, we don't know that. But for now, there are no such rules that the interviews will happen. So if you have a confirmed admission offer from somewhere, it's better you apply before the deadline is over. And yes, and I think that will be fine, I guess. Kyle, or should I add something else?
Yeah, this is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Any candidates wants to, yeah, like language won't be an issue. In the end, you can ask in the Hindi also.
Yeah.
Uh, Kunal, you want to add on like anything else, like how to prepare for the
Okay, so
like if we are applying for PhD, do we want
yeah.
to work on any research proposal
Yes,
or
so
yeah,
I will make it very specific to admission in PhD, and later Ghenu will also add to that. And for masters, Ashok knows it very well because he has already completed and his master's degree from Netherlands. So I'll tell you about the process for PhD. So when you're applying for a PhD, uh, every university has its own commencement and admission offers, or like the dates that they issue for the candidates. So what you have to do is that look for all the commencement dates, like if they have a fall session, if they have winter session, or like any other sessions that where they admit the PhD students. But then when you prepare yourself, you have to prepare yourself at least more than 6 or 8 months when the commencement really starts. So suppose if you are applying for 2024, so your preparation has to start from today. So suppose in case you're applying this year, you must have already prepared yourself from last year. So what preparation goes for PhD admission? So first you need to just know about your research interest. So if you are a PhD candidate, and or like if you have done MPhil and you want to study your PhD in some other country, so everyone knows that you have to prepare a rough proposal for that and start looking for a supervisor. So what the supervisors are? Supervisors are the professors who are going to guide you, supervise you, and through your entire PhD program. So you have to find a professor in any university of your interest in a particular research field that you are willing to work. So for example, like I was interested in working for environmental studies and something around public policy. So Crawford School of Public Policy offers this PhD degree called environmental studies and resource management. So, and then what particular interest? For example, I work on mineral extraction in indigenous communities. So then when you're very specific with your ideas, with your topic, you start preparing a rough proposal that could be around 10 to 11 pages or 12 pages. Some universities ask 5 pages, so it depends which university you're applying. So say roughly you have to prepare a proposal of around 10 to 12 pages. And then the second step will be you start looking for supervisors who have worked on the similar areas or the same research field. So once you shortlist those professors, what you have to do is you prepare your CV you prepare your proposal, and then you start emailing them. So once you start emailing them, if you find any of the professors or the supervisors are interested in your research work, they will ask you to apply it formally. So before the formal application goes, you need to have a confirmation from a supervisor, from a professor who is willing to supervise you or guide you through your PhD degree. So once you get this confirmation, you start the formal application, where the same thing happens. You, whether if it is online portal of the university or they have an admission portal, you apply through the same process or the requirements that they ask for. For PhD, they usually don't ask for your English language requirements. If you have your master's or bachelor's degree in English, in certain cases, they might ask you to have a minimum English language requirement. So, like there are different exams where you get your scorecard for your English language. Or else you don't require it for PhD, because if you have a backup of, you have studied in TASE, or like you have studied your bachelor's in English, so you just have to get a certificate from your previous university that your last degree was in English. Okay, so that is the medium of instruction, and assessment was in English. That's it. For masters, you might require it in certain cases, or you might not require it. Ashok can clarify that later. So once you have this formal application, so you get the confirmation from the supervisor asking the admission section that yes, this student has contacted me and this particular student should be given an offer of admission. So once that happens, you get an offer of admission, which is called offer letter. And this is the offer letter that you require when you apply for the scholarship to the Ministry of Travel Affairs. So once you have this offer of admission and you apply for the scholarship, your chances get high for getting the scholarship. Okay. So once you get the scholarship, there are many other things that you have to do. This will add later, but yes, this is, I think, enough for, I would say, for the PhD program. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kunal.
Also, Kunal bhai, I think we forgot to mention about this thing, right? Like annual contingency allowance.
Yes,
Which,
contingency, yeah.
yeah. So each year, like depending upon your particular course, you will have an annual contingency allowance. So that roughly around 525 USD, maybe 520 USD, 520 USD. Yeah. So
I
you
think
can
it's
avail for book. Yeah.
1500
Yeah. 15.
USD.
Yeah.
1500
Yeah. Yeah.
for, yeah.
1500.
Yeah.
1520, right?
Yeah, 1520 or 1540, something like that.
1520
Yeah.
US. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and then you can buy books or like laptop, well, like whatever, like your research thing for academic purpose each year. So for masters maybe 1 year or 2 years, for PhD 4 years, postdoc maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashok. Like, anything else? Shall I call on Jeet to give his speech?
Hello. Yeah, so am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so I'm Ghenu, but like most friends know me as Jeet. So yeah, like it's convenient for like you can contact me through any social media or anything, like by Jeet in searching up. So like I got admission recently in University of Sydney in Australia. So and like I'm preparing to join the university like on the 1st October. So I will be like most of the things like that already also and Kunal already mentioned everything clearly, but I will add some also some of the points and like some of the experiences like from my like how I was struggling for getting the scholarship from the ministry. So like it's kind of like what to say, like motivation here. So, like you have to motivate yourself, and because unless you get your like motivation from within, so like you won't be able to get admission or get any kind of offer letter from any university, even for the scholarship. So it was like for me it's a long journey. Like I started to like studying abroad since when I was in TIS during my MPhil. So I started writing to the like many professors across the world. So like I did not left like any country, like any major country that like most of the student wanted to go, like USA, Canada, European country, even Hong Kong, even China, and Australia. So like I wrote many professors. Like I, most of the time, like you will see, like when you write them, so like most of the time they don't reply. And like if you write like some 20 or 30 professors, so you hardly get like 5 or 6 replies. So from that, like you have to see like who has given the positive reply, in the sense like they can like show interest in your research. So that will be very difficult to get. So like if you writing someone and like they are not replying, and you should not lose, lose yourself, like they are not replying, it will be like time taking. So like you should not think like that. So it's very hard, because the professor are like they don't have time to reply your message or like see your proposal. So that happens like often. So that is the like main thing, like you have to struggle for like why should I now you have to motivate yourself for especially like who is willing to like studying for the PhD program. And so like I got like many reply from the many professors, but most of the time they will ask like if they will see just over go through your brief proposal, that were like it's any kind of proposal, like it's like it's different university has different procedure, like different style of proposal. So like sometimes 2 to 3 pages, sometimes as Kunal said, like 10 to 15 pages also. So like they don't go overly, but when they see your title and all these things and abstract kind of thing, like they can say, yeah, I can guide you, and it look nice. So that kind of look on, and that the next they will ask whether do we have any kind of like sponsorship and scholarship, because we don't have sufficient scholarship to give you. So like I can help you financially. So if you are arranging some financial arrangement, so I can supervise you. So that on that moment, like if they are replying that kind of to your proposal or to a mail, then you can convince them. I have fully funded scholarship from the Minister of Tribal Affairs, Government of India. So it it covers all the tuition fees as well as my living expenses. So you can convince them, and you can send them the guidelines, the NOS guidelines, the recent guidelines there. So you can send them link. You can send the Minister of Tribal Affairs also for to to show your interest to study, as well as it was support, especially the financial support. So that is like most required while you are writing for the PhD program. Even like for postdoc also, like that happens. Yeah, that happens for the postdoc also. Like you have to send your proposal and all these things. For master, like there is no need of writing proposal. And the second thing is that like you have to convince them, and once they replying, then you can start your conversation. And sometimes the professor will say like you can just, if you can change your proposal to little bit to here to there, then I can be like it will be helpful. So like you have to work, you have to work 6 months, 8 months also. So like when I got my first proposal from ANU in 2020, so like it took around like 1 year to get that proposal. So we have to continuously working with my supervisor. Like she was in ANU, now she is in Sydney, like whom under whom like I'm going to start my PhD again. So like I work, then she convinced, then she told me to like, yeah, you can fill your application. Then I fill application. Then I got offer, and due to COVID, and I could not get scholarship. Although like I had like offer letter from a top 30 university from the world. Like ANU was 29 times at that time, but that time like interview was is to happen. So like from that interview, I don't know, like I got rejected 3 times. So like I extended my offer letter from ANU like 2020 last December, right? It got expired. Then before that, like I started, writing to the professor like in Sydney, the same professor like who just moved to Sydney University. So again, went with the same procedure, and now like I got offer letter as well as I got the scholarship also, and they this time like they did not select you on the basis of your interview, but they only selected the candidates on the basis of your offer letter. Those who are having offer letter and the university ranking. So that is like most criteria. So to go to the good university, like anyone can go like any university in any so like you just look your the university ranking as well as the department like how it's working. The so as Kunal said, like you have to explore the university department and the professor the profile. So that will be helpful for you. And when like the professor is not replying, if you are wanted to study in like Leeds or like some Cambridge or any university, if they are not replying, then you can write to the admission section. So like there will be admission section for the PhD or like MA or anything. So you can just write them. You can just send them the proposal. You can send your CV to the admission section. They can circulate the proposal to the faculties like who is under that department, particular department. Suppose you are applying for medicine, so you can just uh, once you like send your proposal to the admission system, they can send to the department of medicine or like faculty of medicine and circulate the among the professors. And like if they got that mail, they can reply to them because they know that the admission section is related to the university and they cannot avoid that time. Okay, so you can send them and they can circulate that. What happened to me like during my ANU when I was applying? So I did not send the proposal to the professor. Uh, Two professors already rejected my proposal, so like they don't want to supervise my on that topic. And one asked for my all the documents, but she did not reply. Then what I did, like I just sent my proposal to the admission section for this higher degree research. Then they circulated, and like two of them replied me positive reply. So like then one like he stopped to like contacting me again. Then like one professor, like if he really wanted to meet supervisor, the topic was very related to his her field of research. So that will be some kind you can go with that like procedure. So it's not an easy way to get like PhD offer from any university, any good university. So that will be like that kind of challenges you have to go through, and it takes around 2 years also. So like if you are continuously, because the intake time for like most of the university, the intake will be July and January. So like the our this scholarship, the like the date of like applying scholarship this July. So if you are applying for this time and like you don't have the scholarship, so you just apply the scholarship, but try to get get any kind of offer letter like from any university offer letter before releasing the the final the result of the selected candidate. So like the ministry will take time actually. Since the last 3-4 years, like I've been seeing that like they keep delaying releasing the result and all these things. And at that time, you're if you have any kind of offer letter, so like that will be it will be passes. So that will be like main problem. So on that time, like you can extend you can take before for another intake. So like for July intake, you are applying for this next January intake, and the scholarship is not, result is not, out. So you can ask them for, take deferment for next July session. So that is the procedure like where you can do that. Even for master student also, it can be applicable for this same situation. The intake and the scholarship result is mismatching most of the time, so you have to look for that and like going to come and when will be the result will be declared. So it will be hardly take if you are applying in the July last July 31st is the last date. So the result will be declared maybe like sometime January or sometime before that also, November also. So according to that, like you can just keep applying and try to get offer letter from as as good as university, like good university. So once you get offer letter, you can send them. There is a grievance section is there, or you can directly mail to the university through the university the ministry email. You can directly mail them. So I got offer letter from this university, and please consider this offer letter also. So if you have like 5 offer letter, so they will select like which university is best, and like QS ranking. Basically, they will see the QS ranking as per my concern, because I have been going through like the for this interview, and I know. So on the basis of that, like they might select you, and if you have offered also, like sometimes you may be rejected on the basis of your the field of studies. Like most of the students, like they are going for the from the social science background, social science humanities, but the seat is only 2 seats is there. So you have to see that, like for other field, like students are not going that much, but the seats is like much more high. So on the basis also, like they cannot select you on the your first year of application. So you can take deformation, or you can continuously apply for the second time, third time, if you really wanted to study with Ministry of Scholarship. And if that is like, if you are not getting scholarship, try for the university scholarship. So many universities, different fully funded scholarship. For example, like I almost like lose patience for applying this Government of India scholarship, and I targeted for the Government of Australia scholarship. So before that result, the Government of Australia result, like scholarship result declared, the Government of India Minister of Tribal Affairs declared the result, and I told them. So they did not consider my application for the Government of Australia scholarship. So that happens. So like you should not, like once you get the offer letter, means that means like you have the capability to do the research that you want to do. Okay, so try for that. So that like happens, and many of my friends are, so they are getting the scholarship from the university, not from the Government of India. So they especially like in Glasgow University, like one of my friend is there, like he is doing the UK government scholarship, that's fully funded scholarship. On the scholarship will be selected on the basis of your application strong. So like if you have good academic result and publication, especially for PhD and postdoc, and publication, as well as like like good academic record, then definitely they will select you, like if you applying for that. So that is the thing. And another thing, like just I want to mention, while you are like writing to any professor, so like there is 3 things you have to say, as Kunal said, like proposal mostly, then updated CV. Make your CV as much as strong. Okay, like it should be look highlighted some good point, including your all the publication, and like any kind of publication, whether it's like non-English, English, any kind of publication you should mention. Still everything, like your CV should be it will attract, it makes your application strong. Okay, so like so that the CV and expression of interest, so that is like most important part while you are writing to any professor. So expression of interest should be strong, and you should like show your interest, show your word, like how you are writing this to the professor. So it's not like just send like bread to the dog, right, in the street dog. So it's not like that. They should also convince, if they're not going through your proposal, so they can assess your uh, area of research, and they can show interest or not. That is like later part, but you should mention clearly like what kind of research you are going to do, and what kind of academic result that you have, and where you studied. So like just clearly mention the SOP for expression of interest, UI. So that should be strong and most necessary, and especially for PhD. And yeah, like PhD and postdoc also. And for master degree, so like English language is most necessary, especially like if you are going for USA. Most of the university ask, and it can, if you can like uh, so your English language, proficiency, what is like proficiency. So like as said, Kunal said, like the university will give that this student is the bona fide student, was the bona fide student of this university, and the medium of instruction and assessment was in English during his study period or like the university. So they will give a certificate for that. So you can give to them. And while applying for visa, like it also needed, like, so you have to get that type of certificate also. You can ask to them like teach like if somewhere in this, even I'm from this, like no better, but you can track wherever, like from anywhere. So you can just ask to the university like where your studies completed in the last studies was there. So like you can just write and ask for that letter, so they can give. So that will be helpful. Like and if you are really like make your application strong, then if you are interested to write the IELTS or TOEFL, then you can go for that. So yeah, so because on the basis of that only, like if you are good English test or like IELTS or TOEFL, then the university scholarship will be like considered, and like yeah, you will be chosen. So they will only look for that, only the publication in a good journal, and if your English language test score is there or not. So that is the criteria. You should consider like while applying for that. Yeah, like I can clarify like if you have any doubt, and we can begin with our question and answer session. So like I'm stopping here.
Thank you, Jeet. It is actually a very motivational experiences you have shared now, and we are really inspired, like through both three of you, like how you are pursuing your higher studies in abroad. Uh, like now, the floor is open for the participants to raise your doubts or questions, so that uh, the resource persons can answer.
Can I uh, pose my question? Am I allowed to?
Yeah,
This is a
yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I mean, probably I'm digressing, but I'm already a faculty in a central university. I've been working for a while, so I will not fulfill the income criteria for sure. I just wanted to know, and for me, this is the biggest roadblock in terms of promotion, etc. I cannot be an associate or anything. Uh, So, I mean, one of the options is obviously applying for the university scholarships. Uh, any other suggestions that you would like to make, because I want to go 2024 rankings?
Kyle, can I go ahead with this?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, so I think university scholarship is one option that is open to all the citizens from like any country you belong. It doesn't matter. Foreign universities usually don't ask for your income criteria or neither your age. That is one thing. There are many universities that offer paid positions for PhD as well as for postdoc. So it doesn't really matter if you're already a faculty somewhere. If you are a PhD and you are a professor or an assistant professor, you can always apply for postdoc. And but when you're paid by the university, you have to keep one thing in mind, is that the positions will be based on the research project. So they might have for example, a research project based on say a smart climate agriculture in India. So your proposal have to match with the university's research project. So this is one way of easily getting through the PhD program and completely funded by the university. So this is one thing. So PhD, you have the same option. Postdoc, you have the same option. Most of the postdocs are paid positions. So if you're applying for a postdoc, you don't really even need the scholarship from MOTA, because for now, I have some friends that have submitted their thesis, and they will be awarded PhD very soon. So they're applying for the postdoc. So every postdoc, no matter it is in Australia or Europe or US, will be 100% a paid position. So you don't really have to worry about the scholarship when it is a paid position. Many countries in Europe, they do the same thing. If it is a paid position, they pay your tuition fee, they pay your flight, they pay for your health coverage. So they cover everything for your PhD program as you being employed to the university. And sideways, you're also writing your thesis, you're also doing the research, you're doing your own research as well as also helping the university for the project. So this is how it works for the paid positions. So this is the second option that you can always have. But then when you're applying for this kind of paid positions, uh, they have certain criteria. For example, you might have some research papers published, you might have a very excellent your career, you have like a very good degree in your master's or in your bachelor's, and you have so much of extracurricular activities that you have done throughout your student career. So these are the criteria they might look for. But for postdoc, very specially, they have to look through your PhD that you have done, the thesis that you have submitted. This is one criteria. The second criteria is if you have research paper published, then it's very easy to get through. They might ask you for a short proposal for the postdoc position or the project that they are asking the postdoc scholars for. They might ask you for an interview, and then once you get through it, it's easy to get the positions. So this is how it works if you don't have a scholarship from the government of India or like any other agencies that provide.
Can you, apart from being paid, get a scholarship? Like,
Yeah, so this paid position is actually a scholarship. So you are so PhD is considered as an employment in many universities. So it is not that you are a student, studying in the university, but you are an employee who is employed in the university either as a PhD or as a postdoc. So if you are a faculty in a central university, if you have your PhD degree done, the same thing goes for the postdoc if you apply, or if you have still the PhD to be done, you can apply for this scholarship and these paid positions. And of course, your experience as a lecturer in a central university will always help you to get through the positions.
great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
One thing, like like UK, it's not always for like paid position. So there is especially for like Australia, like government, like they're they providing scholarship like as like the Ministry of India, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, like government of India. So like it's not on the basis of like paid thing, but like they'll give the scholarship based on your academic record and publication and all these things. As for like application, like how like your application is strongest. So like because student across the world, they will apply for this scholarship, and that will be like very limited, like for 500 seated, including master, PhD, postdoc, post graduation, post graduation. So like it's very hard to get that scholarship. But if a good application, and like if your application is very strong, then definitely like they can select for that. So yeah, like, and if you are applying for especially Europe, like basically the most of the university scholarship is paid based. Like you have to work, like you have to work for university, like on their project. So that is the thing. Like,
Oh, that was helpful. Thank you.
I think I would like to add this thing that like before like the application, you're supposed to be prepared for all the challenges you will be receiving as well from the ministry. And I think there is a question from Madhusmita.
Yeah,
Anyone have any idea? Is there any postdoc in business administration in overseas university?
yeah, so I think Madhusmita has that question, and we have a similar question from
Management,
for
right?
social entrepreneurship, I guess, Arjun
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
Yeah, so my suggestion would be that when you're exploring certain degree programs, the names might be different. Okay, so if you're looking for PhD in social entrepreneurship, you might not have the same degree name in like all the universities. So the degree name might change from each university. Like one university might have some other name for the same research field. So but then how you're looking for a particular degree which is according to your master's or your for your PhD, you just have to go through a list of the universities. So QS ranking uh, is it is based on this particular criteria, that why this particular university is ranked high, or for which particular research area or certain school. So the best would be to visit those websites first, get an idea of the ranking and why these universities have been ranked. for which particular field of studies. Okay, so once you get this idea and you have shortlisted the universities according to their rankings, you can then look for certain departments that they are well known for. So it's very difficult for us to say that which particular college or university specializes in social entrepreneurship, because there are like more than 1,000 universities in the world. So you have to check for the first 500 universities or the top 500 universities and do a slight background check of the university, whether it is known for science or whether it is known for social science or public policy or environmental studies or social work. So you have to identify those things, and once you identify a particular category that a university fits in, you just go through their website. The best way to find a degree or a particular course is going and visiting those websites. This you have to do for at least 1 or 2 months. And unless you do that, you won't be able to know which faculty is good or which professor you're going to write or send your proposal to. And this is what happens when you're doing your PhD or postdoc. The only thing that you can do is visit those university website, and once you know how to navigate these websites, it will be very easy for you to find a degree. It will be very easy for you to find a particular professor or a researcher or a postdoc position or a PhD position. The same goes for the scholarship. So universities have open scholarship throughout the year. Certain scholarship are closed, certain scholarship are open throughout the year. So it depends which university. So it's not like you go to a university just because you are being offered a scholarship. You go to a university just because you know the reputation of the university and you know this particular university specializes in the research field that you're interested. So if you're going for public policy, go for Harvard, go for Oxford, go for any or any other university that specializes in public policy. So this background check, you have to do it, and also check the ranking and the reputation of the university. Just like you apply for degrees or any other program in India, of course, you check for the best universities, right? And this is what you also have to do when you're applying abroad. So that is the only thing that you can do is make use of the internet, go through the website, do a little bit of Googling. And once you have this idea, okay, like these are the universities that I'm shortlisting or they are well known for a particular field, you have to go for the next step, write to the professors or prepare your proposal and start sending emails. Yeah.